Morning, hope you're well. So we got moved back from over the river where we were working with the windrower. So I've got it here behind me, just put the front on. We've taken the truck home. Tony's he's just doing a job on one of the old tractors. He's gonna start and change it back over so we can put the tipper on. We're gonna take the frame off, and we've got a light bar there, a driving light to put it. I want to put on we'll try and get on the front of it too before harvest. Just the lights aren't the greatest, and yeah, a bit more light won't hurt. Funny sort of a day weather-wise. We've had a few thunderstorms this morning. Hasn't been. I got in at, I think I climbed into bed about 12:30 this morning and was going to go baling, but I was about buggered, so I thought I'll just quit while I was ahead. And yeah, 1:30 there was a clap of thunder and it started raining. So I made, by sheer luck, I made the right decision on that one. So, but yeah, there's been a few floating around this morning. Tony had 8 mil overnight in Baruga, so, but it's a bit of what we call storm lotto. Like Brendan's had a bit of rain down where we're cutting, but we haven't had much back here, enough to probably settle the dust on the road. So yeah, we'll just see what happens weather-wise. But I didn't actually think it was supposed to rain today. I thought it was more tomorrow, but yeah, lots of thunder and a bit of lightning, and yeah, you sort of think, look, the blue sky here at the moment, but yeah, in half an hour it could be thundering again. So it's, yeah, held up the job with the silage down there, but we're hoping in a couple of hours. It's pretty windy and it is a bit, it's warm but it's humid, so we're hoping we might get another crack at the silage down there and get it finished. And even the hay, the vetch down there feels all right, so I'm hoping yeah, 2 or 3 or 4 hours maybe we might get a go at it, which would be really good too. I'm just we've got about 35 hectares here that we can windrow, and then we're just got to wait a day or two for this other stuff that we sprayed before we can windrow it. But I've just greased the windrower and put the front on. Just going to show you here. If you watched the last video, I was going crook about the material wrapping around the center here. And this is essentially what it's doing. It wraps in tight around there, and it's pretty well stuffed that guard actually. So I'll yeah, pull that guard off and clean it out. And yeah, not too sure. We're nearly finished, so there's sort of not much point in mucking around with it now. But yeah, I'll just try and clean that bit of crap out of there, and then yeah, we'll make a start. It's amazing how tight that stuff's wrapped in there. I've sort of been chipping away at it with a knife, and we've got a fair bit of it out. But yeah, the inner bit is, yeah, really bloody tight actually. So I'll have a bit of a chisel away with a screwdriver here, and yeah, hopefully I should be able to get it out. But it's, yeah, it's buggered the guard. But anyway, yeah, we're nearly at the finish line. That's a bit better. It's not 100%. There's still a bit caught in behind the sprocket there, but I've got it as good as I can get it. But we'll get this guard back on. It's copped a bit of a pizzling, so yeah, anyway, it is what it is, unfortunately. But we might try and do something with it, yeah, just to try and improve it. Whether we put a few zip ties around, that wasn't very good cinematography. Yeah, put a few zip ties or something around there just to keep that closed. But yeah, it's just with the material in there, it's sort of knocked it out of shape a bit. Anyway, it's a good thing I spent half an hour unwrapping the stuff on the centre of the reel, because it's back there again already. Jesus. Anyway, we've got this block about half done. What I am looking at is how well the camera will show it, but it's pretty dark out to the northwest, and if we have a look on the radar, there's a bit going on. All those pretty colours, yeah, blues just rain, but red and yellows and greens and that are storms. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. They're probably, distance wise, they're probably, I don't know, 70, 80 k's away. We're just about the end of my thumb there, just to the right of the little screen. So anyway, we'll see how we go. So we're going to get something, but yeah, it's not going to worry this job too much. It's going to bugger the hay job up because there's still a bit of hay on the ground to be baled. And they were talking a bit of hail on the radio yesterday, so storms like that could carry hail, which is not what we want really ever, but especially this time of year so close to harvest. We've all finished, just got a little strip layer left today. Oh, excuse me, it's just starting to rain, so we've timed that pretty well. We can actually windrow in the rain and have windrowed in the rain. It doesn't really affect what you're doing. You only start and run into trouble when, because you've got no mud guards on the wheels will actually throw mud up and over and into the windrow, so that's about the only time when you need to pull up. But we have done a lot of windrowing in the past in the rain, so it doesn't affect the windrow at this stage. So yeah, but anyway, it's radar. There's a bit on the radar coming across, so we'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully there's not a hell of a lot in it, but it's going to give us a break from the hay job for a few days, I'd say, and we may have to start and re-rake, which will be a pain in the bum. Morning. So not a lot of rain last night. Yeah, it sort of looked a lot worse than what it actually was. So sun shining today, but they are talking thunderstorms again this Savo. The wind's around in the east, so it's still pretty humid. So about enough rain to settle the dust, which was not enough. So just out here, we're going to stack this hay. I've got a truck coming, not our truck. We don't actually have a flat top trailer or a drop deck trailer to cart hay, apart from our little hay trailer. So we're just going to cart a bit up to the shed out here at the back farm, and then we're going to cart a bit to home as well, and we might even stick some in the big shed at home, so just to get it out of weather. We're probably going to try and sell this stuff. It's pretty good stuff and it's probably excess to what we need, so yeah, there's going to be a bit of running around with the telehandler, but the little Fent with the loader on it's actually down on the round baler still, but they probably won't bale down there till lunchtime, so I might even slip down and grab it, so we've got a loader at home as well to unload it. The first one loaded, we've got the Bluetooth straps on. Yeah, got the on just to run back to where we're going with them. So yeah, I think there's about 150 here, so there'll be about 5 loads. So yeah, quick way to get them off the paddock. Yeah, sometimes you just got to bite the bullet and do whatever works for logistically, just to speed the job up a bit. All right, the guys, yeah, got a bit of hay cart at home, so it's probably never a good idea to stack hay with machinery. We haven't got a lot here, just in case. We got a hot bale. Hay will self-combust if it's not baled at the right moisture content, but look, hopefully it's all right here. We've got a few here that top bales that did get a bit damp. They would have had half a mil or something on top of them, so we've just given them a bit more room. But hopefully the plan is, as I said, I think we're going to try and sell this stuff, so we won't have it here for too long, is the plan. But anyway, we'll just see how it goes. But yeah, it's close here handy, we can keep an eye on it anyway. The shed out the back's full, so yeah, look, if we don't end up selling it, we've got plenty of hay for the stock. Alright, so it's about, I don't know, it's got to about 30 degrees today, but about 400% humidity. You'd think we're in the tropics. I don't know, they do have rain forecast for this evening, but it doesn't sort of look like it at the moment. It'll be thunderstorms, if anything. So we've got the tipper back on the truck. I've got the turntable bolted back on, and I've greased it, given the truck a wash. It's sort of right to go. Give it the tipper a grease. Now it's, like I mentioned, it's got to go for roadworthy inspection in the morning. So yeah, I've got to take it a bit over an hour in the morning to where it's got to go. I had a bit of a stuff up with the rego on it, but anyway, it's we have in Australia what they call harvest or seasonal rego, so we can actually register it for 9 months of the year, and then we just get a roadworthy done locally, and yeah, it doesn't mean it doesn't have to have an RMS inspection, which is a Road and Maritime Service inspection, which is a government agency. They look over it, but what we want to do is, I actually thought this truck was on seasonal rego when we registered it last year, but it turns out the woman at the RMS office had put it on full rego. So it's not a big deal. I was wanting to put it back on full rego anyway and register it 12 months of the year because we're using it so much. So it's not a big deal. But anyway, so the only booking we could get at the time was, this week, and I thought we may have been harvesting, but as you can see, the head is still in the shed, so it's going to work pretty well timing wise, because we haven't started and we've got a bit of a lull. We've still got that little bit of windrowing of our own to do, but it's not going to be too consuming time wise. So I'm hoping, because it's had a roadworthy locally a month ago, I'm hoping there's not too much wrong with it, fingers crossed. So and we can just pay the bill, and I'm hoping it hasn't then got to go and get work done on it. But if the guys that did the original roadworthy in town are on the money, it should be pretty right to go. So anyway, we are getting there. So Tony's just run the baler. We brought the big square baler home and stuck it in the shed just with a bit of rain floating around. So we've been down there, the hay looks all right. So Tony's just running it down. I'll jump in the ute now and go and pick him up, and then we will plan is to do a bit of baling tonight. So but yeah, they do have rain forecast, but whether it's just thunderstorms, but it doesn't look like it's going to do too much at the moment. So we'll just see what happens when it comes in on dark. Oh yes, a bit of deja vu. So we're back down at the baler. Just give it a chance to warm up. I've just put a bit of grease on it. Whether you can see, there's a bit of a bank of cloud out to the west here. So I'm not too sure. It does look like there's a bit of rain about an hour away, hour and a half away by road. So we'll see how we go. You can just feel the moisture starting to come up in the air. The air's sort of cooling down a little bit. So I'm probably here a bit early with the hay, but I'm just hoping, with a bit of dampness around, that it's not too high in moisture. But two, we might be able to get a bit in the bale before it does rain again. So they were talking sort of 15 mil or so for us tonight, but unless it develops as it gets closer, which is quite feasible with the storms that were floating around yesterday. Anyway, we've got nearly 500 bales here, we'll go very close to getting our 500 bales in this block, and then we've just got some through the fence there. And then there's another block down that way, and another block over that way, and there's still a bit to do. Anyway, hopefully, look, if we could order 10 mil for our corn and rice ground, that'd be spot on. But and Storm Lotto, you wouldn't know. We could get rain down there and not get rain here. It's just the way it was yesterday. It was it was quite weird. Just the storm cells that were floating around. Anyway. We'll get after it here for a while and see how we go. We'll punch a couple out and see what the moisture's doing. See what the magic number is. Might be... Oh yeah? We might be good to go. The pressure's up a little bit. We're up around that 1600, but we might... moisture's good, so the bales feel alright. I was just talking on the last one about the pressure. I mentioned how it works. Well, I didn't mention how it works, but basically we've got two rams on the side of the baler here, and that's pushing that panel. It's basically squeezing the bale. So that's basically how we get the pressure and the weight into the bale. So you can see that ram's pretty closed up there, and you can actually, it might be a bit hard to tell, but you can actually see how much here it's actually squeezing the bale. So there's one there, and it just works on a cam setup, so it's putting pressure on these side panels, and then it's packing, essentially packing. You can sort of hear the packer working, the plunger working. It's just pushing the bale in, and as it, you might be able to see that, the bale moving. So it's essentially essentially it's already tied the bale, so yeah, it's essentially making the next bale. Yeah, it's just those side plates keep the pressure on the bale, and yeah, that's how it sort of works. Pretty basic explanation, but yeah, hopefully you get the gist of what's going on. Anyway, we'll get this block out and we'll see what's going on then. Just pulled up. I've just finished another little block here. I'm just checking some moistures, and it's all pretty hunky-dory, but I'll just see there's quite a lot of lightning around in the distance. I don't know, the camera mightn't show it up. There is, I haven't looked on the radar, but yeah, it's not liking the light, but you can sort of see the flashes. That's the lights of the dairy where we're working just there, probe. But yeah, you can see the flashes in the background. It's pretty cool to watch. I just thought I'd pull up, and rather than trying to do it while I was driving the tractor, but the camera's having a bit of a hissy fit because it's so dark. Well, yeah, it was a good one. So anyway, I've still got stars above me where I am. It's sort of slipping down to the south. We've got the Murray River down to the south of us, so I'd say that's on the Victorian side of the river. But yeah, there is a bit out to the north here. So yeah, it's gonna limit what we get done tonight, but sort of perfect baling conditions at the moment. Our pressures are spot on and our moisture's spot on, so these bales have got a bit of good weight in them. Yeah, you sort of, when you stick the probe in, and you sort of got to stick your knee against it to push it in. Yeah, you know they've got a bit of weight in them, and yeah, well, it's only 9%, so yeah, it's perfect really. So anyway, we'll keep trucking here and try and get a few more out before we get wet. We'll just move paddocks again. Where I was, the moisture was, yeah, we sort of, when we were driving around the other day, we could see a shower of rain. Sort of hit where we went to. Oh, there's another good flash. Yeah, so I got down and the pressure dropped right off, which is an indication the moisture's come up, and the pressure was down to about 300. So actually, once I got that bale out, I stopped and had a look, and yeah, we were up to 38%. I could barely push the probe in the bale, so yeah, I thought that's a good recipe for a fire, so we'll just remember those ones. But yeah, so yeah, back into some oats. A fair bit of ryegrass in them too, but yeah, moisture's sort of between 10 and 14, which is good. You can feel in the air, there's a bit of moisture kicking around now. But yeah, this lightning shows 100%. It's bloody ripper, so pretty partial to a good lightning and thunderstorm, especially this time of day. So anyway, yeah, it's I haven't actually looked on the radar to see what's going on. I've still got stars above me, but yeah, there's a bit going on, I can tell you. Alright, we're back at home base. Yeah, the moisture sort of organised here. The moisture sort of beat us in the end. Yeah, pressure dropped right off. We were back to sort of 500 and 600s, which isn't ideal, and I did probe a few, and yeah, moisture was still alright, but we had a couple that were spiked, so we thought we'd better quit bowl ahead. Obviously there's just the moisture in the air with the storms that are coming, but we've sort of got storms sort of 360 degrees round us at the moment, so we'll be lucky if we don't end up with something. So anyway, yeah, so trucking tomorrow, go and get this truck roadworthied, and yeah, so harvest is rapidly approaching. So anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you again. Ta-da.